Hi everyone, welcome back. My name's Dianne Kaler. I'm the Director of Nutrition Therapy Institute, and we are here today for the next segment of our PodTalk. We are talking with Therese Revitte, who is with Live Bright Nutrition Therapy. She's a graduate of NTI. So she's going to talk to us about what she's been doing since graduation, her practice, all those kinds of things. We're going to get into those kinds of things. But before we get into those, Therese, I would just like to hear from you. First of all, what drove you to want to learn about holistic nutrition? And then how did you find out about NTI, and what made you choose NTI as your school of choice?
Okay. Well, hello, everybody. So I always had an interest in nutrition, even as a teenager. That was starting to be an area of interest. And we had a vitamin cottage close to our house. All the way back then, yes, vitamin cottage was around.
Yeah.
And I would spend time there just kind of geeking out on all the different things in the store. And it's funny, I go into Vitamin Cottage now and it smells, Natural Grocer now, and it smells the exact same. There's just a certain smell about it that just, that memory just sends me right back to my teenage years. So that was always there, but I ended up going into another field for a lot of years. And then I got married, had kids late in my 40s. And when my youngest daughter was 15 months old, I came down with an autoimmune disease. And, I was a stay-at-home mom. I wasn't working anyway, but it just kind of put me on a different path. I got more attuned with like health and holistic living and stuff like that. So I started taking master gardener classes, and I got really into organic food gardening. And from there, I joined a foodie book club, and I started learning about how broken our food system is. Kind of top to bottom, the agricultural system, the food system. And it was really interesting to me. So I ended up, and you'll remember this, Diane, ended up at a GMO symposium in 2013, and it was hosted by NTI. And it kind of put NTI on my radar. I was taking other classes in permaculture design at the time, and so I didn't have time to do that. And then I kind of forgot about it. But several months later, I was driving down the street and I saw on somebody's car window the NTI window sticker. And I went, oh, I was going to look that up. Yeah. And I went home and I looked it up. And it was like kind of coming home for me. I just, everything on the website just spoke to me, the whole holistic piece on it, the nutrition piece on it. And I started getting really, really excited. And it's like that's what I need to do next. And that could possibly be a second career for me. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how it got on my radar. And I started like that fall in 2014.
That's amazing. And actually, now that you say that, I do remember that you had a gardening background. And I remember you brought to one of our classes, you brought a bunch of Jerusalem artichokes.
Yep.
And I planted those in my garden, and they still come up every year. And so I, for the past 2 years, have brought in bagfuls of Jerusalem artichokes to give to people, because they are very proliferative, we'll say. And so
they don't go away easily.
No, I still have them from the ones you gave me. So yeah, I do remember that. Well, that's a wonderful story, and I'm so glad that you found NTI. So while you were here at NTI, did you take everything in the classroom, or did you kind of go back and forth between classroom and online? How did you experience the curriculum?
I think it was most efficient for me to do a combination. I really appreciated having the opportunity to go into the classroom, but I think I did about 2/3 in the classroom and maybe 1/3 at home to get through the courses faster. Mm-hmm. But yeah, being in the classroom, being able to interact with the teachers, with the other students was really great. And I've formed some lasting relationships with both, actually. So yeah, if you can do it in person, I would, at least part of the time.
Yeah. Well, thanks for plugging that. And we are now the only remaining holistic nutrition school that still offers in-person classroom learning. So thanks for the plug. And I'll just say it again, in case anyone, if that does meet your learning style, to be in the classroom, in person, with classmates, with the instructor, to have that direct eye contact and to be able to have those conversations. You are a great example of that, taking advantage of that and being able to support your learning needs in that way. So that's great.
Yeah, it was great.
So can you remind me when you graduated?
2017.
17. Okay. So then after you graduated, you decided to get board certified. So you did the board certification exam through NANP, and it may not be immediately after you graduated, but at some point in time, you did get board certified. So can you talk a little bit about kind of why you decided to get board certified and your process for getting ready for it, doing the studying? Did you work with someone? How did you prepare for that?
I decided to do it because I had some conversations with people and had learned that, well, how do I want to say this? That not every school is created equal. Not every nutrition certification is created equal. And I know that NTI is one of the best ones out there. And there's some other obviously really good ones out there too. But not everybody that you run across is going to know that. And so I felt like it would benefit me to go to that next step up, to have a national certification, so that when I talk to people, I felt like all of us who were board certified were on equal footing. We had all gone through the process of proving ourselves to a certain standard. And not everybody is allowed to do that through NANP. You have to go to the type of school that has the type of rigor that they want. So that's why I did it. I'm not going to lie, that test was kind of intense and hard. I took the full 3 hours to complete it. But I will say that NTI, the curriculum there, definitely got me ready, because there was nothing on it that I had not been exposed to. And so in terms of the process, so NANP allows you to do one of two things when you graduate and get certified. So you can take the test within the first 12 months and then tack on your 500 required hours for the certification, board certification, or you can do it in the opposite. You can get your 500 hours first and then take your test. And I knew for me, if I waited too long, I'd forget a bunch of stuff and it'd be really hard to pull it all back together. So that was my plan. And another graduate who graduated at the same time, Megan Carpenter, she and I, we didn't exactly become study buddies, but we decided to go through the process together. And so we, for about the 6 months beforehand, we stayed in touch with each other. We talked about our plan for studying, just kind of held each other accountable and supported each other. So the other piece on it, well, okay, so in terms of how you study, I studied my notes, not my notes, well, partly my notes, but mostly I studied my homework assignments and the tests from each of the classes. And they draw the test questions from 5 or 6 different sources. And so I made sure that I had those sources to look through too. So I had those 3 things: the homework, the exams from our classes, and then the sources that they draw questions from for the test. And so Megan and I did that together, and we exchanged those books and stuff. Some of them were already ones that we had read for the through our curriculum at NTI, so we didn't have to buy all brand new stuff. So that's how I did it. Yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Well, she had a plan to study a new source once a month for 6 months. She's very organized. And I knew that wasn't going to work for me. And so you have to find your own style of studying and what's going to work best. And so about 6 weeks out is when I really started creating a plan for studying to get up to that final day.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's how I did it.
Good, good. And have you found that per your plan, what you said of why you chose to get board certified, have you found that having that board certification title really does put you on equal footing with a variety of different practitioners who've graduated from other schools? But having that board certification gives you all similar credibility. Have you found that to be true?
Yeah, that's definitely true. And, you know, I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
And it's nice to know that you're on equal footing with other people. So yeah, in terms of the benefits of it, so when you first get out of school and you're not board certified, you tend to be working with friends, family, close term referrals, that type of thing. And they're not necessarily your ideal client. They're the ones you're gaining experience from. But having the board certification brought me to a new level of attracting the kind of client that I want. And I'm still getting there. So I can attract a client now that is a little more complex, a little more serious, a little more compliant, and a little more willing to spend a little extra money to invest in their health, which has not always been the case. So that's a good thing. And then in terms of dealing with other health practitioners, they tend to, I mean, board certified, it sounds impressive, and it is kind of impressive. And so they're more willing to give you the time of day. They're more willing to give you the respect you deserve. So like I was talking with she's not quite a biologic dentist this morning, but I mean, we're talking about cytokines and, more technical stuff. And, it felt really good to have kind of a repertoire with her that felt serious and accepted.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's I think that's a really important thing, to be able to communicate with someone in the same field, or even a different field, like a licensed medical practitioner. Um, um, the way that they are going to see you as being credible is that you are using the vocabulary and the terminology and all the scientific lingo that they see that you are to be taken seriously. So
Exactly.
yeah, I think that's great. Well, so you talked a little bit about, your clients and your ideal clients. Can you talk about kind of what your business is? And so you chose to open a private practice, seeing clients, you're seeing clients one-on-one. And are you doing that in person? Are you doing that online? Do you have a specialty? Do you have a niche area of practice? What kind of clients do you see?
Yeah, well, I started out marketing myself, well, thinking that I was going to do a bunch of one-on-ones, because that's kind of how we're trained at school. And I market myself in that direction. But I'm also realizing that you have to diversify a little bit along the way to make sure if you're going to make money, you have to do different things.
Sure.
Yeah, just trying to do the one-on-ones was not working really well for me. But I do market in that direction. So so I have Live Bright Nutrition Therapy. I also became a certified AIP coach because of my autoimmune background. And then my husband had an autoimmune situation as well. It's like, I should just specialize in autoimmunity, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And I studied that at NTI as well. That was my independent study. So I did that. So I market myself as specializing in autoimmunity, as well as, the other stuff. And I offer packages. So I've got my basic 4 appointment package. And then I have my Put Out the Autoimmune Fire package, which is much more, it's longer, it's more intense, it's got more resources and more kind of concierge thing with me, where they can text me and email me on a more regular basis. So I've got that. And then I started doing cleanses to make a little extra money. And so now I have a cleanse package.
Mhm.
And then last year when COVID hit, somebody said something that gave me the bright idea that I should create a webinar teaching series on how to start your own backyard food garden.
Oh,
And
that's great.
yeah, and it's my first love and it's so much fun. So I'm decided to do that every year. I'm doing it for the second year now.
Mhm.
So I got like 15, 16 people signed up for it, and we do
Great.
our classes every 2 weeks, and we have a Facebook page. So that's another thing that I diversified into doing. Sometimes I do group presentations. What else? Yeah, the business just continues to morph.
Mhm.
I'm in my fourth year, and so things are just going to continue to change, I think, for a while.
Yeah.
And then recently I got a side job with Radiance Functional Medicine, because that's kind of neat to be able to have other people to talk to about, more, various cases and stuff.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I feel like I'm kind of all over the place right now, but it's fun. It keeps me
Yeah,
busy.
sure. Yeah. And such a variety of different opportunities. And I love how you're melding together your gardening with your nutrition. So that's got to be fun. So
I remember being at NTI thinking, how can I make that work? Because to
yeah,
me, they're very different things, but enough people assured me that they're really not that different.
yeah, yeah.
So
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Good. Nice. Well, um, uh, that is all the questions I have for you. And I want to be conscious of your time, knowing how busy you are. Um, so where can people find you? Social media, websites, what kind of access do people have to you?
Well, I just finished a new website. I just got that up and going. So I'm very proud of it. Go see me. I'm at livebrightnutrition.com. I'm also on Facebook, Live Bright Nutrition, and Instagram, Live Bright Nutrition. LinkedIn. I'm being told I should be on Pinterest. But that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you do your own social media or do you hire that out?
I'm doing my own right now.
That's a big job. It's a big job doing all those different platforms on a
Oh,
daily basis. Yeah.
yeah, it really is. The stuff that goes into just doing a business that's not the work that you were trained to do is kind of phenomenal. So I may end up hiring that out. You got to make a little more money before you can hire things out.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
It's a step-by-step process.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Well, Therese, thank you so much for your time today. I think this conversation will be really helpful for current students, for grads, and also for prospective students to kind of get an idea of opportunities, different ways to think, recognition that what you think you're going to be doing the day after you graduate likely will change. Just thanks for your expertise and your openness about what you've been doing. We really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, thank you for inviting me, and it's so
Yeah,
good to see you again too.
yeah, you too. All right. Well, you have a great rest of your day.
Okay, you too.
Thanks.
See ya.